This week in Ken's Tech Lab, we're going to be putting together a PRUSA Mini clone from scratch. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So I guess starting out with every one of the shows is sort of like an unboxing. Let's see what we have in this. This was ordered as a kit. I ordered it from China, and it's supposed to be all the parts that's normally in the PRUSA Mini. So we have lots of boxes to go over, and I did put together my PRUSA, which was my main printer for a long time. And that one was put together as a kit, but it was ordered directly from PRUSA. Since this one is a kit from China, I really don't know what to expect. Let's get rid of that box. I believe those are the rods. There are the stepper motors, and they're packaged exactly like the PRUSA was, the real PRUSA. See what's in this box. There's the switch, the LCD panel, the stepper driver heat sinks, the on-off switch, the main board, and your cable that goes to the LCD screen. So we know what's in this box. We know what the heat bed is. This is the heat bed structure. The actual hot plate. We have a power cord. It's nice. This box is pretty heavy. Well, I did not get a pair of cutters with my PRUSA, so this is a little bit nice. The full toolkit, the feet pads, wiring, fans, gears, power supply, this is going to be nice. This is going to be a nice kit. Now I will tell you that this will not be on a single show. I'm going to split this over a few weeks. Here are all the Y and Z metal extruders. We'll leave them out because that's one thing that we'll be using first. All right, let me organize this and bring up the instructions on my computer, and we'll be right back. All right, we have all this set up. I have my laptop set up with the instructions. I have a few things out. One thing I didn't tell you is I printed all the parts out as far as plastics. I did this 2 or 3 months ago. I printed all the plastics out. I did it in PETG, and I also printed out both of these are in the PRUSA Mint This one is, of course, the PRUSA Mint Orange and the PRUSA Mint Black. So at least I would have the same prints that they use, and I printed all these on my PRUSA, just like they do. So that should maybe keep it in spec. I don't think this is going to operate or be the same exact thing as buying a PRUSA, especially that you don't get the gummy bears that you normally get from PRUSA when you order their printers. But let's get started on this and we'll see how far we can actually go this week. I'm going to take out the screws, and I believe that they're all pre-labeled, and that's good, because one of the things the instruction says is take out the instruction book and match them up because of their actual size on the book that they have. Since I don't have the instruction manual, that didn't come with me because I didn't order it from PRUSA. What's this little thing? We don't want to lose these. I'm sure we'll see what these are later on in the instructions, because I have no idea right now. So we have all the screws here. All in their own little bags. And I have the instructions up in front of me. And our first step is tools necessary. So I have the tools. There's all the tools to put this together. I don't need this part right now. And it says here that I am going to need a pair of which didn't come with the unit, but I do have a pair in my drawer. Needle nose pliers, universal wrench, which is right here. 2.0 millimeter Allen key, 2.5 millimeter Allen key, and a 3 millimeter Allen key. We have all those. Step 2, Y carriage parts preparation. That's where we're going to be right now. So let's start all this. I'm going to move this out of the camera so we can make some room in the camera area. I haven't purchased a camera that can shoot straight down, so I'm using the main camera on a tripod for the same effect. You can tell me in the comments if that actually is working out okay for building. All right, let's go get the parts. It wants the Y carriage, and it also wants the bearings, and we're talking 3 bearings. That's 1 bearing, 2 bearings. Let's see if I have another box of these. Two, 3. Okay. There's 5 smaller bearings. 2 big ones and 5 small ones. Let's see if I can find another large single bearing. I would say it's the small ones. 3 of these. Let's take this out of the package, but we're going to keep it on the plastic for right now. This is the top, that is the bottom. So when I purchased my PRUSA, the big one, it came with a package of PRUSA lubricant. It also came with the PRUSA lubricant applicator for the bearings. Now, that one did not have in there for me to actually do anything with the bearings. This one, well, the cap doesn't break it open that easy, does it? We might actually have to use something different. Okay, it also says get some paper towel. I believe its words was get a lot of paper towel. All right, I was just reading the how to apply the lubricant into looks like everything is going to be hard to open. It's probably because I have a little bit of lubricant on my fingers, so things are not okay. So there is one. It looked pretty lubricated, but it says stick it in here. All right, there's one. I actually need to take the MK3 apart and do the same thing as the last time that I did a print from it. It was squeaking a little. There's two. And I think that's because on the rods, since there is grease and in the air there's always dust, you're always going to have an influx of dust hitting and sticking to the grease. And when it does that, it builds up on the grease and you start having this black, what would you say, the sort of like a buildup on it. And getting this grease out here. So you wipe it off, you clean it off, and it comes back time after time. So finally, after you clean it so many times, what it's doing is it's still re-lubricating those bars, and you keep on wiping it off. So eventually you're not going to have any oil left inside the bearing. And that's never good. I know some people actually use sewing machine oil and other to just like lubricate to get it inside. Well, this really made a mess of this. we're done with this right now. We don't need to get oil and grease all over everything, so I'll kind of move this out of the way. All right, so we greased them. I've watched some of the videos on the real PRUSA being put together, and some of the people throw those bearings into alcohol overnight and then dry them off and then re-lubricate them. I'm not going to do that though. This is just like the MK3. They want the lineup of the bearings to be like this, so it's holding the weight on 2 sets of bearings, not just one. Okay. Here's another thing different on the kit, is that this comes with just a U-bolt to hold the bearing on. The real PRUSA one comes with a complete plate that goes over the whole thing to hold the bearing on. Much different. So, okay. Bags are hard to open when you get the slightest bit of grease on your fingers and they want to stay closed. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is turn this over. There we go. A little bit of searching and having the right tools is always best. So let's look at those 2 sets of bearings again. And let's put this down evenly. Okay, but not too tight to warp the bearing. There you go. There's one. And to make sure that it didn't move on me, okay, let's take number 2. Let's look for the bearing. Let's do that. If any of this gets out of camera shot, I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't have the above cameras like some do yet. I'm planning on getting that. Okay, we got 1, 2, and there we go. There's another one all nice and tight in there. Let's get number 3 on there. Okay. Put this right in the middle. And what I do is when I pick it up, I hold it down with one hand, not to move it out of its the way that I have it sitting with the bearings. I believe when I put the MK3 together, this was the first part that I did also on that. Oops. There we go. Check the alignment of the bearings again to make sure that they are still in the position that I wanted them in, and they are. That's good. And that part is done. The next part is the heat bed spacer parts preparation, which is going to take the heat bed spacers times 9, but the spacers have already been put on this one. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. There is 9 in here, okay. So the only thing I need out of here is the M3 screws. M3-8. Right here. M3-8. Okay. Let's see. Let's get one out. There we go. Get this. Now let me get the part of the bed that actually gets hot. Let's open this up. And again, we got this is in the same. Actually, they just want me to put the spacers in. And they want the mini Y-belt holder. So, I take that back. Just back over here. We're gonna find the plastic, whoops. We're going to find the plastic part that corresponds to sort of like that one. I believe this is it right here. It is. And 3838 screw. Still these screws. 2 of them. So since I don't have to put the spacers on, since they're already on this one, which actually is a good thing. They're pressed in. Okay, back on the bottom again. Where this comes here, this is going to set right there. And okay, if this wasn't pressed in right here, then I would have the nut on the other side that would have to go through this hole right here, but since I have it already done, I just have to put these on. That is absolutely wonderful. We made it tight and then we untightened it again. Didn't think that the screw was going in. There we go. Okay, that's on. All right, Y-axis front parts preparation. That is what's next. So that's going to require the front plate with the original PRUSA Mini logo on it, which I do have. Let's put this aside. Keep what we're working on right here. And it wants Mini Y plate front with original, oh, that's this, and M520R screws. Okay, maybe we'll put this out of the, completely out of there so we can get to our screws. These are M5s. M516. We're looking for M520. M320. M520s. Found them. We need 4 of these. There we go. Okay, let's go to the next part. Okay, so it wanted, for the following steps, please prepare blah, 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 blah. And that's the M5 and the Mini Y. Now we need to take all the extrusions and compare their lengths. So, like I said, we have the extrusions here. There's one. There's two. More trash. And there's three. So it looks like we have two of the same and one long one. Hey, that's what the picture shows. Okay, mounting the Y plate front. Okay, let's get my plate out. Okay, you got this with the left-hand side bracket. Supposed to take the short one. Aha! Oh, that's cool. So it slides right in there and it has a little place right here for the insert. It also has another one on the other side for the insert. Nice. So we're just putting the screws on there. Okay. So it looks like I only needed 2 screws for this. And it says hold it from on top, and I'm sure that's because it wants to make sure that it stays on a straight line. And then we need to grab the correct, let's see if this is it. No. I think it's this one right here. That's it. So I wanted to make sure to do this and bind them together. Okay, that's both of them. Let's get them a nice good tightening. There we go. So as you can see, we have the first extrusion on, and I believe that is the last part for step 12. So I have a little timer running, and it says that we've been over 30 minutes on this video already. And like I said, this is going to take a few times. So let me clean this up a little bit, and we'll be right back. So everybody, this week we got to section 12 on the manual to put together the PRUSA Mini clone. And next week we will continue with the other side. And hopefully it works as good, or almost as good, as the real PRUSA Mini. Like always, I say, stay awesome.